Well, hello and welcome back. Thanks for coming back. We've got to Lara Bay. We're going to go that away. Going to take us about 15-20 minutes, and we're going to finish right in the Agua St George harbour and finish with a view that's quite simply to die for. Come on, let's get back into the car and let's get this old four-wheel drive back onto that track, and you are going to get, well, an event, shall we say. Let's get the seatbelt on and let's get the little car started up and let's get going. But what a view. And there's quite a few people down there, by the way, enjoying that view and dipping their tootsies into the blue Mediterranean Sea. Here we go. We're going to get back to the main road. And well, if you can call it a main road, the main track, should we say, in the AKAMAS. And of course, we're heading in the direction of downtown Paya, Agua St George to be precise. Sit back and enjoy the drive. Get yourself a cup of tea or a hot latte, perhaps. And on that note, if you do like what you see, hit the like, smash that subscribe, and don't forget to keep on coming back for that little bit more of our complete and utter madness. And don't forget, if you want to gift us a hot latte or two, drop some benzene into the tank, go and hunt us down on the Buy Me a Coffee platform, because that's how you guys can keep this little channel afloat and keep us making these videos especially for you. Now, I've said it many times before, when you are out on these kind of roads, drive carefully and drive sensibly and try and avoid all the big crevices and the rocks. Otherwise, you could find yourself in downtown paradise with a puncture or two. And all right, most people are carrying a spare tyre or two, but it's hot out there and you don't really want to be doing that. So take it easy, take it calm. You're not going to get there very quickly anyway, because the speeds that you're travelling are quite slow and moderate, shall we say. So stick with us. We are heading in the direction of Paya and of course Agua St George, where if you want to come into the AKAMAS, most people would enter it from that area, I suppose. So if you come back for some future episodes, you'll see us driving from Agua St George all the way into the AKAMAS, monkeying around a little bit, and eventually taking you out towards Neo Chirio, which is at the top of Polis. And then of course we'll take you on that ascent from Neo Chirio down to Polis as well. If you like these kind of videos, drop it into the comments and tell us where you'd like us to go. And as long as it's not too adventurous, we will do our very best to take you to some of the places where you probably have never seen and never will see. But of course on this little channel, you've got the opportunities, shall we say. Now on this particular section of the road, by the way, they are doing some road improvements, and they do scrape it quite often. They do try to keep it quite accessible. But again, I know we've seen a hire car on our travels, but I wouldn't recommend it, because technically you are off-road. And of course, if you were to break down and you had to phone your hire car company, they would understand that you're off-road, and I'm pretty sure that you'd find quite a severe infringement on your credit card. But more likely you're going to damage the car, and again they're going to notice it, and again they're going to keep your excess. So I wouldn't do it if I was you. Although many people don't heed that advice, and they do. And we wish those people all the luck in the world, by the way. We really do. We hopefully they don't get a puncture, and hopefully they don't get embedded on a rock. Now there's a sign coming up down here, and apparently there's a restaurant down there, so we'll name it to you when we get that little bit closer. Now I'm not going to be able to pronounce it, by the way, but we'll just call it the Turtles Restaurant because that's what it says on the sign, and I think it says Xenia or something like that. There's a kiosk apparently down there as well, and toilets and changing rooms, because of course down there is Lara Beach, a very, very popular beach indeed. And of course that was the view that we had at the very, very start of this little episode. There we go, grateful gentleman coming the other way. There was a big pothole on his side and my side, so often it's better to be courteous, isn't it? Otherwise, well, you don't want to clip each other off-road, do you? Because your insurance is totally null and void. Well, that's if you tell your insurance company, obviously. Like I was saying in an earlier video, as you start to get closer to civilization, you do start to see more and more cars coming the other way. The gentleman in a hire car, again, he needs to be very, very careful. You might think he's jacked up, but of course, he's only got front wheel drive, so if he gets stuck, remember, that hire car company is not going to be too happy with you. So please, please, treat other people's property with respect, as you would expect that your property to be treated, shall we say. But slowly but surely, the roads around here now do slowly start to get better, although there are one or two inundations in and around, shall we say. But in the distance now, I can start to see some houses and some villas, so that must mean that that is Argus St George coming up in the distance. So don't click off just yet. Stick with us to see if we survive the AKAMAS adventure. Coming into view at the moment now is the St George Island. So of course we know we are very, very close to civilization. So touch wood, we're going to make it, and hopefully we'll get to go on another adventure, and hopefully you guys will come and join us. And if you like it, drop in the comments, by the way, because it's always nice to be told if you liked it and enjoyed it, and of course where you'd like us to go next. Now, as I said, if you look carefully in the distance now, there are one or two villas on the cliffside. Here's a gentleman that's decided to venture out on an electric scooter, and he's understood it's a little bit hot as well, by the way. That's why he's got his t-shirt on his head. And we've got a couple of those, by the way, so you never know. One of these days we might stick them in the back and we might take you on an adventure on a scooter. Drop it into the comments. Would you like to see that little adventure? Because I bet you that'll be quite good fun. In fact, I think we're going to make that adventure very, very soon indeed. And as we start to notice, there's more and more red-plated cars, by the way. Brave people in their hired cars. But we wish them luck, and we hope they don't damage the cars, obviously, and we hope they don't get stuck, because you don't want to get stuck out in the middle of the AKAMAS. And if you are venturing out, make sure that you've got plenty of water and, of course, something to eat, because you're not going to have much of a mobile phone signal, that's for sure. So we can clearly start to see now there are villas on the cliffside, and of course there is the St George Island, and in between the cliff and that island we can make out that that is Agrius St George Harbour, and that's where we're going to conclude this video. So stick with us, because you are going to get a great view, and it's a great place to come, by the way. You haven't got to go off-road to get there, by the way. And there's also a great restaurant which one of our sister channels has featured once or twice. Of course, if you want to know about those channels, there is Marika and me. That's where myself and Marika take you gallivanting in and around Paphos. Of course, there's Cars and Me. That's where Mr. Paul takes you on little car adventures, where he buys them and sells them, takes you in the body shop and all those kind of things. And of course, Marika's got her own channel. That is Marika and You. That's where you can get up close and personal with her. And of course, you can also come back to this channel where we take you on little off-roading adventures to places where you will never ever have been before, or perhaps seen before. So if you like it, hit the like, smash the subscribe. Please don't forget to keep on coming back for now a little bit more about complete and utter madness as we take you on our little adventures on the dirt tracks, on the mountain roads in and around Cyprus. And as I've said many times, we're not going to stick to just Paphos. We're going to venture out into the hills around Limassol, around Nicosia, Larnaca, and now and again we're going to go on a beach drive as well. So exciting content coming to the channel, and if there's somewhere that you'd like us to go, write it in a comment, and you never know, that video may be coming very, very soon indeed. We can tell we're coming to civilization because there's a Porsche, and there's not many people that want to take them off-road, is there? So again, this is some of the area where they're doing some improvements. They're trying to stop the embankments falling onto the road, and there's a lot of talk about putting a bit of tarmac on it, but some of the Green Party is saying no, so that's the politicians getting involved as usual. because the other politicians understand that many people who come to Cyprus would like to go perhaps that little bit off-road, and of course to make it much easier for people, a nice little track with a bit of tar macadam on it would make it that little bit easier. But at the moment, like I say, politicians from all parties are arguing over it, and the Green Party is saying no. Whether they're right or wrong, well, we'll leave that to your decision. Drop it in the comments. Civilization has arrived. That's the Sea Rays Cafe Bar on the left. Great place to go and get yourself a bite to eat or a drink, perhaps if you've come out of the AKAMAS, or perhaps if you're about to venture into the AKAMAS. And there's one or two new villas waiting for you as well, by the way. And there, just over there, is one of those RAV4s parked up, and that is one of the cars that we're thinking about buying because it's quite old, so you don't worry about it too much. It's got permanent four-wheel drive and it's got a diff lock, and that one looks quite cool. It's got slightly bigger wheels and tyres than normal to give it that little bit more ground clearance. So drop it in the comments. What would be a sensibly priced, sensible little four-wheel drive for us to buy and make a feature on the channel? And maybe that could become the star of the show. So slowly but surely now we are going to join the main road, and we're going to take a right and head down into the Argus St George Harbour. This is the Argus St George area of Paya. Paya is a very big place indeed, by the way. You've got Paya, you've got Coral Bay, you've got Sea Caves, and of course you've got St George, or to pronounce it correctly, Argus St George. And that's the harbour that we're going to go down to, and you are going to get a great view. And again, it could be a place that perhaps you might want to come and stop on a pint or two. There is a cafe down there, or perhaps just lounge on the beach, because it's sitting there and I promise you it's waiting especially for you. So here we go. This is the final little trek. We feel much safer now because of course we are in civilization, and of course rubbish bags scattered around. That tells you there's got to be an awful lot of people about. We've got the Cap St George Hotel down there to the left, so if perhaps you want to go and cool down and relax, we might pop into that bar and get a drink and perhaps a bite to eat. So final trek, stick with us. While you're waiting for the final view, hit the like, smash that subscribe, and perhaps get ready to go and hunt us down on the Buy Me Coffee platform, because of course that's how I keep telling you, you can keep this channel afloat. A coffee a month or so is all we ask, and we do thank you very much indeed from the bottom of our two hearts. On the right is the Argus St George Church, by the way, and often there are stalls out there selling all sorts of bits and bobs, not just religious icons, but little bites to eat and little knickknacks for your little vacation in downtown Cyprus. And these are some of the areas where we're saying we're going to take you on beach rides, because with a suitable car you can work your way, so I'm told, from this area to Coral Bay, or from Coral Bay to this area. So don't forget to keep coming back, because there will be new adventures on the channel, and one of them might just tickle your fancy. So this is the Argus St George Harbour area. Like I say, there's some great areas to get on the beach. You've got a boat or a dinghy, or perhaps you can hire one. You can go kayaking and all those kind of things. But this is the grand finale of the event, all the way from the Baths of Aphrodite all the way to the Argus St George Harbour. And we're literally touching the blue Mediterranean Sea, especially for you guys. Feast your eyes and digest. And we're going to say thanks for watching, and I look forward to seeing you again very soon indeed.